Well, hello, guys. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. We're already open for business here because I've already done my morning video and talking about how the Cowboys stopped Kyler Murray. And I came through and I saw this note about Russell Wilson. This year has been a very disappointing year, of course, for the Seattle Seahawks. What's happened to the Seattle Seahawks is not like the exception to the rule. Generally speaking, a team will build up, become a Super Bowl team, and then they will slowly go downhill. You can look at this from the Carolina Panthers, where they were going against Denver. Cam Newton and crew was 15-1. And they got beat down in the Super Bowl, but they slowly just dropped off the face of the earth. And you see where Carolina is now. You can look at the Denver Broncos. They had Peyton Manning and Von Miller and crew. And boom, won that Super Bowl. And you look and see where they are right now. You can look at the Eagles. The Eagles, they won the Super Bowl. And then, of course, they kind of dropped back down to earth. They're trying to make a resurgence right now. They're trying to. They're trying to hold on, but you see that they're in the process of rebuilding. The Atlanta Falcons, that's another great one. The only team that hasn't happened to on a regularity is New England. Now, New England had this benefit of having a terrible conference. As much as we always talk about the NFC least, the NFC least was really the AFC East, which was always bad. New England knew that they had 6 give-me games every year, and they would always get home field advantage. So I'm not going to say that was the sole reason that they were winning all the Super Bowls, but because let's be clear, by hook or by crook, by cheating or whatever, Bill Belichick was a hell of an innovator and was always having those guys prepared and understood the game better than everybody else and could always throw you different wrinkles. But as you look at the Seattle Seahawks, from the time they won the Super Bowl, you could see what was happening to them. They started losing coach after coach. Chris Richard went to the Cowboys. Dan Quinn goes to the Atlanta Falcons. Players got old and weren't replenished with younger guys that were good. We always kept, thinking, oh, Cam Chancellor, Richard Sherman, okay? Yeah, they were great players at their time. But the problem was they didn't get the next generation. You can live off of having great players only for so long. And at some point, it ends up being that you're living off of a name. You're remembering what they were doing the years before, not what they had become. We had people that said, oh, man, we need to go get Richard Sherman. Well, what has Richard Sherman done this year? People that said, oh, man, we need to go get Von Miller. Yeah, well, the Rams went and got Von Miller. I think he's got 1 sack and maybe 10 tackles in his time there, a second and a third round pick for that. The problem for Seattle is, and I thought about this a couple of days ago, but after hearing Russell Wilson, this really brings it home. Russell Wilson told reporters yesterday, I hope this isn't my final game in Seattle, but at least I know I will be playing in the NFL next year. We know Russell Wilson has not been happy with the direction of the team the last couple off seasons. He's made it known. His agent kind of put feelers out there, places he'd like to go. Dallas would be one of those places. And sorry, Cleveland, I don't think you're on the short list. Eagles, I don't think you're on the short list. You can dream and say, let's just bring Russell Wilson in. And one other thing I want to point out, too, is there's a narrative out there that a franchise quarterback doesn't need to have things around them. They can will the team to win. Then explain how it is that Seattle is 5-10 if that statement is true. Russell Wilson, if they decide we're just going to blow the whole thing up and start all over, can have his pick of where he wants to go. But he also has another half, and that other half will want to be someplace where there's a lot of spotlight. New York, although I'm not really sure that he'd want to go to that dumpster fire of the New York Jets where quarterbacks' careers go to die. I'm not sure he wants to go to the Giants with Here comes the judge coming back there either. I'm not sure where you'd want to go. Maybe New Orleans, because there you have a coach. But what has happened with Pete Carroll kind of reminds me what happened with Tom Landry. Tom Landry was an innovator. Tom Landry was everything. Tom Landry was the offensive coordinator and the defensive coordinator. I want you to think about that for a second. Head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator. They innovated. They went out and they got a statistician who knew nothing about football, but started using a computer to crunch numbers to determine where this person would be in a draft. They went to small schools, traditionally black schools, and finding players. They went and took Bob Bullet Hayes, who was a track star. They came through. They had the shift, okay? A lot of people don't know, because we used to do that shift in high school. That shift actually had a purpose to it, because when we shift, we could cheat in a little bit in our stance, or we could cheat out a little bit in the stance. So, for example, I was a guard. We're running in the A gap. In that shift, I cheat out about 3 or 4 inches, because that's where I'm trying to make that hole. It's subtle, but that little bit of crack can be the difference of breaking it through there. So as I go down on the tackle or go up on the linebacker, there's a little bit more space. That was an innovation by Tom Landry. Using the shotgun. All these things were things that gave you an advantage against the opponent. The problem was with Tom Landry, he couldn't continue to innovate. He stuck with the things that he knew, and other teams came up with ways to get past it. Bill Walsh, the West Coast offense, predicated on the dinking and dunking, getting the football to the receivers in space where they could make plays. The Cowboys, slow death through the 80s till they finally hit rock bottom and had to be blown up. The parallels are right there for Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll, who loves the defense, loves ball control, loves running the football. Russell Wilson wants to sling the rock. He doesn't have the defensive players, and he's reached thinking, if I just get this in the box safety of Jamal Adams and bring him here, that's going to turn this defense around. It's just not. Now you've hamstrung yourself where you should be able to get an impact player. That impact player will be picked by the Jets. And so there is no way, no how, from this point forward, that Russell Wilson and Pete Carroll can coexist. There's no way. The only way Russell Wilson stays in Seattle is Pete Carroll is gone, and they start over. And the bigger question is, are you looking to start over if you're Russell Wilson, or go someplace else and try and win another ring? So maybe it is the last game for Russell Wilson in Seattle. There's plenty of teams that will be more than happy to pay him a king's ransom. When you saw what Matthew Stafford got, you can imagine what Russell Wilson will command. Wow. That being said, I still got to get back up to the workshop. I'm Mark Holmes, and I hope you have a great day. Hope you join us tonight for our year-ending live stream that we are going to party into the new year. And I'll see you there.